Arsenal 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Arsenal do the double over Tottenham this season. And what a reaction that was from Arsenal, because I watched the Newcastle game, I watched the Manchester United game, and Arsenal were not at it. But today, the way they came out, the first 20 minutes, the press, the energy, the way they pinned back Tottenham, Arsenal looked miles better, and it was a much better performance from Arsenal. And if they can continue doing that this season and playing with that level of energy, and they go and sign a top level attacker, maybe the title race could be on. I think Liverpool will win it because Arsenal today were creating chances, still not converting them, still not got the finishes in them. But if they do go out and sign an attacker and Liverpool drop off and they continue to play with that kind of energy and press like they did in the first 20 minutes, you never know. It was very, very encouraging from Arsenal. And Lewis Skelly, I want to talk about that guy because I was wrong at the beginning of the season because I'm a Man United fan and we got Obi Martin. And I said, well, Arteta's not going to play any of the youngsters. He's playing Lewis Skelly in a big game like that, and he's continuing to play Lewis Skelly, and he's unbelievable. And Arteta is putting some trust in the youth. And I think Arsenal with Wanyeri and Lewis Skelly have their sort of best sort of period of youth right now. I think the last few years since Saka, it's not been at that level, to be fair to Arteta. And he was unbelievable. I want to talk about Lewis Skelly. I want to talk about Declan Rice, best performance in a while. I want to talk about Gabriel. I do want to talk about Spence for Tottenham, Bergvall, Archie Gray as well. But I do think it was a deserved 2-1 win for Arsenal. You can see by the stats there, they were the more dominant team. In the first 20 minutes, Arsenal was so good. And I was shocked that, they didn't go 1-0 up. And then Tottenham score against the run of play. And I think, was this going to be one of those games where Arsenal fans put the deserve to win a meter tweets out and Tottenham get the win? But no, Arsenal responded really well to that. And that was Arsenal looking fiery, and they looked more up for it than Spurs. I think there is exhaustion and tiredness in the Arsenal players' legs. I think Timber could do with Ben White being back to rotate. Declan Rice looked a lot better today, and he's been rotated lately, and there's a bit of exhaustion in the Arsenal players' legs. But I do think it was much, much better display from Arsenal. I thought Tottenham looked quite tired. I thought Pedro Porro was very, very off it. And I'm going to talk about my general thoughts on Arsenal. Then I will talk about my general thoughts on Tottenham. But these are my notes. First 20 minutes, Arsenal unbelievable. The way that you'd want them to react from the United loss, from the Newcastle loss, there's a lot of pressure on Arteta. And he set up Arsenal perfect tactically. Arteta, the way he set up Arsenal in and out possession was perfect tactically. And there's been a lot of questions over him. And I think the questions under Arteta is, look, he needs to win a trophy, and Arsenal haven't progressed this season. But I don't know if it's a tactical issue. I think it is more an individual issue with just the lack of quality in attack at Arsenal. Because Havertz wasn't a really good. Havertz is a confidence player. He'll start scoring loads, and everyone will hype him up. Havertz golden boot charge. Here we go, tweets again. Or he'll just miss sitters, and he could have scored today, and he's not finishing easy chances. And I think, to be fair, I don't think Arsenal have created chance after chance after chance this season in certain games. And maybe they've just lacked sort of game winners, whereas Liverpool have Salah that is just a game winner. But today, Arsenal were creating chance after chance after chance. And their attack is just letting down the midfielders, letting down the defence, because they didn't convert the chances today. And I think Havertz has had a lot of chances lately. He's not converted. And I think Arsenal need to go out there, if they're serious, and go and sign an attacker. If they're serious, they need to go out there and sign an attacker. Lewis Skelly was outstanding today. The physicality he showed, and we'll talk about him in more detail in a second. Saliba, Gabriel were excellent. Timber, good, just looks a bit tired. Declan Rice delivered a monstrous performance. He's not been at his very best this season, and I still think he's a 6, not an 8, which is interesting with Subamende potentially coming in. But I thought he was unbelievable today. He was everywhere. And I think Arsenal showed the mentality, the Declan Rice, the Lewis Skelly, the Gabriel, the passion. I felt that they wanted it more than Tottenham. I thought Tottenham were disappointing. I thought Tottenham were going to give Arsenal a game. And I wanted Tottenham to give Arsenal a game. And they were so disappointing for me. I thought Spence was really up for it. But I felt that, Tottenham were pinned back tactically by Arsenal, and they struggled. And Arsenal had that control in the first and second phase, which pinned Tottenham back. But Arsenal are 4 points behind Liverpool. I still think Liverpool win the league. They've got that quality, the game winners like Salah, Gakpo. But Arsenal were favourites to win the league at the beginning of the season. If you knew that Man City were going to drop off the way they did, I think everyone would have guessed that Arsenal were going to win the league. Saka's out injured. They need that attacker. They need that goal scorer. If they can get an elite level player in, maybe they can challenge Liverpool if Liverpool drop off. I still think Liverpool win the league. But I want to talk about this guy, Lewis Skelly. First of all, the mentality. He was stuck in today. He wanted it. He wanted to play. He was loving. I think that's his first North London derby. He was loving it. But he was outstanding because I tell you what, Pedro Porro, poor game today. Spence, Tottenham's best fullback at the moment. Lewis Skelly was getting down there, causing Porro problems in attack and actually just playing the ball into Trossard and actually really helping get the ball forward. But it was the defensive duels today. I felt that Tottenham really struggled to get out of their own half. And Kulusevski, who I think is better centrally than on the right, is a physical player, one of the best players in the league. Lewis Skelly was just pushing him off the ball with ease. The physicality he showed was fantastic. And Arsenal could sell Calafiore. So Arsenal could sell Zinchenko, sorry. Calafiore could be bench cover, the new signing, because Lewis Skelly's been that good right now. I think the mad thing is Lewis Skelly's apparently best role is left centre mid. That is the player he is, and then Calafiore comes in at left back eventually when he gets a bit of luck with injuries. But Arsenal can sell Zinchenko because Lewis Skelly is 18, and to be putting in those levels of performances consistently, unbelievable from Lewis Skelly. 18 years of age, consistent, those performances, unbelievable. You've not seen that since Saka. Man United, we had that with Rashford. When an 18-year-old comes in and brings that consistency, you know that they're a special player. And Zinchenko can go. Calafiore is on the bench for now. Maybe he takes the spot Lewis Skelly turns into a left centre in the future. But he's not even a left back, and he's doing unbelievably well. On the other hand, you can say the same about Archie Gray at Tottenham, the way that he's playing out position and doing unbelievably well. I think that's gone under the radar a little bit. But the anticipation from Lewis Skelly, the way he dominated duels and won everything, he made it so Tottenham struggled in attack. They struggled to really create and get at Arsenal. And I felt that the defensive work that was done in the duels and the just dominating the game physically is what gave Arsenal that advantage and what gave Arsenal a little bit of dominance and control in that game. But yeah, Lewis Skelly, it's not just that, but he's like Timber but left-footed. He's very good on the ball. He's naturally a midfielder, so he can invert into midfield. He's comfortable on the ball, but he's very able to carry and get the ball and overlap and provide that support and attack. Can build out, can receive the ball at tight angles. Literally very pressure-resistant player that's good in the tight spaces, that can play the ball forward. Very good pass with the ball. Very good on the ball. Different level of player, unique level of player. And yeah, Arsenal have an absolute gem in Lewis Skelly. They have an absolute gem in Lewis Skelly, and him and Timber is some fullback pairing. It really is, because there's not much you can't do. In terms of my thoughts on Tottenham, these were my notes. I said the corner shouldn't have been given, but and it gave Arsenal momentum, maybe getting that equaliser and belief, and maybe it'd have been 1-1 if it wasn't for the corner. But I think Arsenal have been quite lucky in a few games with VAR and decisions not going their way. And I said this, sometimes you get the luck, sometimes you don't. It's not PGML is against you and deliberately robbing you. Sometimes you get the luck, sometimes you don't. Tottenham got the luck, you could say, versus Liverpool with Bergvall not getting sent off, although the first yellow card Bergvall was never a yellow. Arsenal were unlucky versus Brighton, and they've had a few iffy red cards. The luck swings and roundabouts. And Tottenham, it shouldn't have been a corner. I would understand Tottenham's frustration, but Arsenal were the better side. I'd much rather Tottenham win that game than Arsenal. I prefer Tottenham to Arsenal. I'm a Man United fan. But I think Arsenal deserved to win that game in terms of they were the better team. I thought Porro needs competition for a spot. I don't think he looked good enough. Son scored a clutch goal, but Tottenham could benefit with another winger, a bit of competition for Son, because I just don't think he's the player he once was. Djed Spence, incredible athlete, incredible game. The running, there was 2 or 3 times where he carried the ball forward and found so much space, which is probably the only thing that Arsenal did wrong at times. There was times where Tottenham could just run through them. I think Sarr made a good run, Basuma made a good run as well. But he was excellent in the wide channels, the 1v1 situations. He was probably Tottenham's best player today for me, just athletically. And I thought Sterling had a good game, actually, and looked quite bright. But Djed Spence did deal with him quite well. But Ange, yeah, half-time changes didn't really make an impact. And I was disappointed with Tottenham. I thought they were going to bring more. I'm going to give credit to Gray and Bergvall. They run, they give everything. They're so young and they look so much more mature than a lot of the experienced players at Spurs. I think a lot of the big names and experienced players at Spurs let them down today. I feel for Ange a little bit due to the injuries, but I do think Arteta just set up Arsenal tactically so much better, and that's why they won the game. And I think they just had that control in the midfield. Declan Rice back to his best this season. I don't think Declan Rice has had the best season at Arsenal, but today he was absolutely outstanding. His athleticism, his positioning, he was, winning all of his duels, the 1v1 situations, off the ball great, on the ball great, tidy, composed. He put in, for me, a 9 out of 10 performance, and he was one of the reasons that I think Arsenal were able to create the chances they did, because I think he was influencing every phase, whether it be in build-up, whether it be in off the ball, whether it be progression, but these tidy, nice, neat passes in the final third, the set pieces, excellent delivery. I thought it was an unbelievable performance from Declan Rice, and what stood out for me was the legs, the ground coverage. Partey was really struggling at times. He couldn't catch his man. Sarr made a good run. couldn't catch it. Partey struggled at times, but Declan Rice was there with the 1v1s, defending the channels, the ground coverage, while then picking up the ball and being composed and influencing every phase of play on and off the ball. I thought that was a £100 million Declan Rice performance. And I like Declan Rice. I think he's a really good player, but I don't think he's been at his best. I still think he's better at 6 than 8, but that was a complete performance from him. Gabriel, probably man of the match, and Gabriel's been better than Saliba this season, and I think this is becoming a more popular opinion now. 10 clearances, 7 out of 10 duels won, 7 touches in opposition box, 5 blocks, 4 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 shots, 1 goal. This is him versus Tottenham in both games this season. He loves a game versus Tottenham. He loves a big game, Gabriel. He's incredibly frustrating to play against. And I just knew he was going to score today from the corner. And you know what's annoying? Is I've got Solanke and Gabriel in FPL, and I'm going to get 1 point for Gabriel and minus points for Solanke because it goes down as a Solanke own goal. So I am fuming about that. But luckily I captained Isak, so I've not had a complete stinker this week. But Gabriel, that monster tackle, I believe, was on Solanke, stopped Tottenham scoring. That was an unbelievable challenge. It was like De Ligt in the game versus Arsenal the other day. Unbelievable challenge. And he's Arsenal's best goal scoring threat at the moment from set pieces, constant danger in attack, but he's winning everything in the box defensively, going forward. He's winning the second balls, and he puts his body on the line. Saliba's more aesthetically pleasing, better on the ball, better in build-up, better from playing out from the back. But Gabriel can still do that. But Gabriel does the dirty work. He does the off-the-ball work. And I think Saliba gets more credit because he does the pretty work. But Gabriel is a monster. He's an absolute monster, dominant in the air, beast. And he has been, for me, Arsenal's best player this season. Gabriel. I mean, Saka, maybe if he didn't have that injury, he's been unbelievable. Timber's had a good season, but Gabriel. But can Arsenal catch Liverpool? Only if Liverpool drop off and Arsenal sign a solid level attacker. I'd like Arsenal to catch Liverpool, but then I don't want Arsenal to win the league. I want Forest to catch Liverpool, if I'm being totally honest. But Arsenal aren't losing games. They've just had a lot more draws this season. They're not losing games because they're dominant. They're still good off the ball. They're still good defensively. But they don't have the Salahs, the gap posts, the goal scorers, the game winners to win them the league. Arsenal have to sign an attacker and Liverpool have to drop off. So that's what you're relying on. I think Liverpool, because of the lack of investment in January and players tiring, they could definitely drop off. But Arsenal need to sign an attacker if they want to challenge Liverpool. That is my opinion. And then last but not least, I thought Odegaard looked a lot better today. He looked more energetic. The press was good. The movement was good. Got the assist. Had a lot of space, was creating a lot of chances. I felt that Arsenal were a lot more creative today, a lot more energetic in the press, a lot more up for it. And I thought a lot of players really stepped up today. And I think Arsenal will be happy with that. I think Tottenham were very disappointing. And it's not good form for Tottenham. And they haven't had much luck with injuries, but they need to do better. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. Bye. And I do apologize if I spoke really fast, but I just want to keep these videos to like 12 minutes because I'm doing like 17-minute reactions and I just feel like it's too long.